Hey friends, welcome back to another exciting reactor vlog. Today we're gonna go to Japan. This is one of my favorite countries. And so this was a reactor vlog which was made possible by the Japanese Atomic Industrial Forum, who brought together a group of nuclear advocates from across the world. Clean? And we got to do something that very few people in the world get a chance to do. We got a chance to go inside a nuclear research reactor, one that is actually operational as well. So this is the UTR Kinki Research Reactor at Kindai University in Osaka. As a nuclear engineer, I'm gonna take you behind the scenes, show you exactly what we had the chance to experience while here.
Hey, I'm super excited.
All right, so to give you a quick summary of what the UTR Kinki Reactor, KINNKI, at Kendai University is used for, well, it's a 1-watt research reactor. Yeah, it creates 1 watt worth of electricity or power. Yeah, so what's amazing about this research reactor is not only that it looks super cool from the outside, but that it also has a mascot, and the mascot's name is Mr. 1 Watt. The corridors are nice and painted, very nice. And you have actually, this is called, what's his name? 1 Watt. 1 Watt. Okay. Mr. 1 Watt? Dr. 1 Watt? Hello. He's doctor. It's very, very cute. Yeah, we had a chance to take a picture of this mascot and also see it framed right before you enter into the research reactor. I think this is amazing and so an incredible symbol. Also, what's interesting is this research reactor first went critical in 1961. All right, so it's really, really old. It makes it one of the first research reactors that's operating in Japan.
You can find I show the photos made in the United States, and the American Standard is a manufacturer and designed and produced these reactors. They installed in 1961.
Unlike power reactors, students actually get an opportunity to get some really hands-on experience with this reactor here. So everything from reactor operation to radiation measurements to conducting experiments. This is all in one. Gonna go inside the reactor now.
Yeah.
Here with Professor. Tell us a little bit about what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So here we were hosted by Professor Takehiro Yamada from the Atomic Research Institute. And before going inside the reactor, we had the chance to actually talk to the students, share examples of what we're doing back home in terms of nuclear advocacy and also parts of our career as well. Going into this reactor. And then we got a chance to go inside the reactor. Yeah, so we walked through the UTR Kinki Reactor and learn more about it. We got an exclusive tour checking out the entire area. So we got a chance to hold some of the fuel assemblies. Okay, these were empty assemblies. I wish I got a chance to actually swap one of my fuel bundles with the assembly. Okay, I think that'd be pretty cool. These assemblies are huge. They probably wouldn't fit in my luggage, but it was nice to hold one in my hands. Yeah. When you come inside the reactor facility, you see this very large tank, and that's where the reactor's kept. It's nice and yellow.
This tank has made of sand and water for the shield. So I think it is very normal to use concrete.
And then you climb up the stairs, go upstairs, and then that's where you see the graphite. Okay, the graphite is also used as another moderator and for thermal neutron reactors. It was actually a US designed reactor that was installed here in Japan. That's kind of the history behind this. It's really cool to see the standing here on top of the biological shield.
Yes.
Seeing the graphite down here.
Yes.
The neutron detectors, you got the shut-off rods, 4 of them, fuel assemblies.
Yes.
It's very nice. I love how it's exposed.
Yeah.
You know, you can see everything. It's a very nice visual.
Yeah.
Love it. Professor Yamada got a chance to show us some of the newspapers and history behind the reactor's history and how it was operating. This reactor also uses enriched uranium, which is also very, very interesting. We also got a chance to go inside the control room, which was a really fascinating experience. Everything is pretty much analog in this reactor, so you'll see buttons and assortment of digital things. I got a chance to actually press one of the buttons, just the reactor shut down, and so you can kind of play around with it as well. Scrapping the reactor right now. Oh wait, process first, right?
Yeah, that's okay. And then reset.
This one.
Yes.
Great. Is that?
How does it feel?
Feels incredible. Like just to, it's very, the buttons were very tactile, right?
Technology.
Yeah. And I think this was really interesting to learn a little bit more about the training that goes on for operators or people that are operating this nuclear reactor. How many years do how long is the operations training program?
It's depend on the programs. More shortest program is only 1 day. For beginners, at 1 or 2. For the trained personnel, for the 3 or 4 days. Yes.
I will extend my trip. Okay, so you might ask that Japan is such a highly seismic area. Is this reactor safe to operate? Well, the answer is yes, it's very safe to operate. Actually, the Professor Yamada told us a little bit about the history behind when Fukushima happened and that the reactor went through a 3-year shutdown to meet these regulatory standards.
You said that you had to do some adjustment regarding the nuclear safety after Fukushima.
Yeah.
You had some new requirements in terms of safety. So what was that? What did you change?
I'm not here at that time, but I heard we take 3 years. Only change is on the yes, here side.
Storage.
The tightness to the typhoon, big typhoon.
Oh.
Yes, only one. Other is only explanation. Only show.
Administrative.
Oh, oh. Only show evidences, calculations.
As you'll see, Professor Yamada actually takes us down inside and shows us one of the safety features. If there is an earthquake, this device activates, and so you'll get a chance to see a little bit of that. Professor is going to show us a safety system here within the plant.
This is the earthquake sensor. The Japan is we have many earthquakes, so it is this reactor has a safety system for against earthquake. If this sensor works, so the reactor is yes.
Wow, that's a really, really interesting mechanism. It seems very simple. You have this weight at the bottom that shakes. If earthquake is activated, and then boom, the safety system will shut down the reactor immediately. Pretty innovative design right here. This goes to show how strict the nuclear regulations are here in Japan, how incredibly safe this research reactor is, especially that it's located right in the center of a city and around a university. So it's very safe, it's low power, it can be utilized by students, so it's an incredible asset.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this because I used to look at some seismic components in Atucha. So this for me is super fun to watch. So it's basically a cylinder that with the movement of the building itself will activate the system, right? Yes. So we now have the possibility to activate it. Let's see.
Yes.
I can do it?
Yes.
Okay, 1, 2. Earthquake. Oh, and this pulls down the control rods right inside the reactor. So cool.
This research facility is not just for Kindai University students. It's actually used by assortment of other universities as well. They also run training programs and at this university using this research reactor and facility.
Radiation, gammas,
Okay.
now stops, only measure gamma.
Taking a measurement of the radiation of the fuel assemblies. You can see, what is it, 0.5?
Yes, first scale is 10. Now the 10 with the 7.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you can see
0.15.
the 1.
0.15.
1 micro.
So it's playing a really big role in the nuclear knowledge retention across the country and development of expertise. One of the experiences I really enjoyed was just talking to Professor Yamada right on top of the reactor deck, where you can see the graphite. He had this pointy stick where he was just pointing out all the instrumentation and all of the equipment and components that make up this reactor. I think this was a really, really valuable one-on-one experience with him, which was such a rare opportunity to hear from someone of his caliber and his knowledge just being passed down, right? So that was really cool.
How to understand this radiation levels. So background can exposure by X-ray for the diagnostics. So it's 660 microsievert for one diagnosis. It's one hour. So you If you want to take your radiograph here, you can see here. 2 days, 3 days.
So yeah, super low levels of radiation that are being coming off of this fuel assembly. Another really cool experience was seeing some of the materials encased in glass, right? So you'll see some of the fuel and also just how it's arranged inside the fuel assembly. And this highly enriched uranium, right?
Yeah, yes.
What's the percentage for this?
I don't know. This is
Enrichment.
LEU.
LAU?
LEU.
And I think the most special part was just hearing from my colleagues and fellow nuclear advocates, right? Getting the reactions standing on top of this research reactor. I think we were all mesmerized hearing from various folks like Larissa, Yusuf, Julieta. So let's hear a little bit of the highlights from that.
For me, this is an incredible experience that reminds me of my own experience in Argentina because I studied with a research reactor as well when I got my degree in nuclear engineering. Impressive to see how universal this experience is. I felt the same thing that I felt on the first time that I saw a research reactor there. It's beautiful, and this unique reactor, which has very low power, allows to do very unique experiments as well, as you said, like levels of temperature and pressure that are normal. This will have an impact on the sample itself that is very hard to reach with other types of reactors. So this one is fantastic.
Having the reactor being like open and exposed, being able to see all the small motors and small components directly, and even see them operate, as we saw from the outside, like the small motors. So if we move the control rods, you can see the motor spinning. And yeah, I'm also being jealous not being a student here. So
And at the end of our visit, we had TLDs, or thermal detectors, radiation monitors, devices, which showed us how much dose that we accumulated throughout the visit. This is the dose that we got from standing on top of the reactor. Check it out, 0.000. Yeah. And so when looking at our TLD data, it showed 0. And so it just goes to show the level of safety and a lot of just the level of radiation that this reactor is emitting, which is next to none, right? So you can go walk in, you safely receive 0 dose while you're on this tour. And so I think that was something that would blow people's minds. One part that I really enjoyed throughout this reactor tour was actually seeing the real life applications of some of the reactor uses, right? Like, for example, utilizing the reactor for neutron radiography, right? So this reactor is an amazing source of neutrons. And so using neutrons, you can see deeper within materials. Imagine like an X-ray times 10, right? So you have these large lead type of equipment, which can be put on top of the reactor and utilized for this purpose. So you'll see kind of a tray where the professor's taking out and putting it back in to potentially put in samples. And I think just him explaining how this process works was really, really cool. This is a phenomenal radiography method that professor's showing us here. And the difference between, this is X-ray?
Yeah, X-ray.
X-ray versus neutron. And so you can see the difference of how clear the resolution is and how you can see the metals and electronics and so many of the details. And this bad boy right here goes inside the reactor.
Yes.
Another really amazing experience about this whole reactor visit was just seeing.
If you want the reactors, of course, you have no license. You cannot operate here.
Professor Yamada go through some of the explanations of how the research reactor is controlled. So he starts off by taking out, he's like, hey, these buttons are used to take out the control rods. And then explaining what are the steps to start this reactor from 0. The neutron device
Yes.
sample.
Yes.
Do you have to set the reactor?
Yeah. So it depends on the experiment. During the experiment, we can change samples on the top. But sometimes we need to shut down, stop, and then open the roof. So it depends on sample sizes. Yes.
All right. So what I love about the professor and this whole experience is that you can ask any questions, right? So I asked, like, hey, if there's an earthquake, what would happen? So if there's earthquake, you guys click the earthquake button.
Yeah.
Okay. Like how big earthquake?
With the 100 down.
100 down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, yeah, Professor explained a little bit more about what would be some of the precautions that would be taken when you have an earthquake, a real life situation happening when the research reactor is operating. There you have it. I think those were some of the highlights of this research reactor visit and checking out the whole facility. Really grateful for JIF, for the whole organization, for facilitating this visit. Loved every bit of it. You know, the train rides going there. That was a really, really fun experience. You know, walking around the city, walking around campus. I think it was so cool to get a chance to see that area where Kindai University is located in Japan. Came across this beautiful shrine and we were taught how to put the coins in and what traditions to use. So it was a very incredible cultural and learning experience. I loved it. If you ever get a chance to do this, I highly recommend it. If you ever have the chance to check out this research reactor in the future, please do so. And there you have it. Appreciate you watching this video. Till then, take care. Bye.
This. 7, 6, 5, 4. Clean? Yeah. Right. Clean.